Hey, everybody, and welcome to Disruptor Discussion Season 2. My name is Jennifer Fry, and I am your hostess for today and every week, hopefully. Welcome, you guys. I am crazy excited for our guest today because it has made a massive difference in my life and my business. And I'm so pumped to be able to share this with you guys. Disruptor Discussions, I started last year because I wanted to create a stage to highlight industry disruptors and give them a platform to share with my audience and a wider audience about how their businesses help help other clients grow their revenue through their expertise. And as much as we do that at Appreciated Asset, we set our new business appointments for our clients, we love what we do with our Done For You service. There's so many other solutions out there that also help businesses grow. And if we can all agree that there are zero problems that cannot be solved in a business with more revenue, right? All you need is more money and you can solve any problem in your business, guaranteed. So with that said, we are super excited to have April here today. You guys, I'm going to start with what's new with us because it applies here. I will share that we at Appreciated Asset are offering licensing agreements now. We have jumped right in here when I learned about licensing last year, and you guys are going to learn all about it today. I saw the insane opportunity that was available for our business to expand and to grow and scale in a way that was feasible for a small team. But then also, I saw the opportunity for all of our clients. I saw how each of the clients that we work with have such subject matter expertise that they had content that could be licensed and that we could help them sell those licensing agreements. So it's just been such a beautiful relationship that April and I have been able to grow over the last several months. And this is really kind of the second time we've done this. We did a fireside chat a couple months ago as well. And we're going to continue to offer opportunities for you guys to learn more and more about licensing because it's an absolute game changer. So that is our news. We license, and we are super excited about the ability to grow our business this way and serve so many more people with our sales trainings, and really excited about what that's going to look like in 2025. And then I also like to share with you a disruptor hack. And this one I'm going to keep really short today because, because we've got a lot to get through. But my disruptor hack for today is going to be around childcare, which hopefully is applicable for some people on this call and some people watching our playback. I finally made a decision after seeing that I was spending an exorbitant amount on childcare, that unless it is for purposes of either revenue generation or a super fun night out, I no longer spend money on childcare. And when I say that, I mean, I've gotten really intentional in the way that I spend time away from my son and what arrangements I'm making for him while I'm gone. So without being too vague, I had a group that I'd been volunteering for and was spending a lot of time away from him and again, paying for childcare. So it was actually costing me quite a bit to be doing this volunteering. So what I did is I just changed the rules and I decided to start taking him with me. And it's been a really cool thing to expose him to. It was obviously child friendly enough that it's appropriate for him to be with me. But that's just a quick hack for you. Things don't always have to look like we think they have to look. If we set things up a certain way, we can always change the rules as we go. So I just wanted to share that. I am super excited to introduce April to you. I'm going to read her bio, which is ridiculously impressive. But I also want to tell you guys about this woman. So when we met introduced through another colleague of ours, and her energy, her genuine commitment to serve, like her ability to communicate a really new concept in a way that is completely digestible. It's unreal. And she's absolutely changing the game for so many entrepreneurs, consultants, subject matter experts to be able to create and scale their businesses where they may be really dependent on them, right? When your IP and your genius is really centralized to the success of your business, April has a strategy through content licensing that will absolutely blow the roof off things for you. And she's a rock star. I'll just mention that. April helps subject matter experts, coaches, and consultants expand the reach of their work and scale their business for lifestyle freedom by designing profitable offer ecosystems and licensing their content for millions. She's partnered with countless leaders and brands to boost their reach and profits with less effort and more impact. And her own content has been licensed by coaches around the world for over 15 years. She's the founder of the Sweet Life Company, an award-winning business strategist, podcast host, and a rare to find lifelong lifestyle entrepreneur. April has been coaching experts for 28 years, and her innovative business strategies have been featured by Today, MSNBC, Fox News, in the New York Times, Austin Women's Magazine, 5280 Magazine, and by Patagonia. She was also named the greatest thinker of 2011 and the top 50 moms in podcasting for her leading show, Sweet Life Entrepreneur. April owns 5 companies with her husband, travels 8 months a year supporting her sons, and often escapes on solo surf trips, always looking for her next adventure. April, I'm going to hand things over to you. Before I do, you guys, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. We will get to them. And if you would like to hot seat, if you specifically want to know how this can work for you, also please let us know and we'll be happy to make that happen for you. April, take it away.
I'm so excited to be here. It's always weird to hear somebody read your bio. Basically, I just want you guys to know that I'm here 100% to pour into you and talk to you about a brand new concept that very few people are aware of. Well, I shouldn't even say it's new. It's just a secret, and it's called content licensing. And that's what we get to talk about today. And I have so many aspirations for experts like you to be able to expand the reach of your work. And I'm just very excited to be able to be here, Jennifer. Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting. I have my headphones in, guys, in case the dogs and the kids and everything else come in, but hopefully you can all hear me today, and I'm very excited to jump in. So if that's okay with you, Jen, can I go ahead and just take it away? Awesome. Okay, so I have some slides to share with you, but I really want you to know that as I go through these, the key is thinking about how this can work for you. In the beginning, I want you to immediately dive in and I want you to see yourself in this next level of your business, in this next level of your life, because all of us are looking to design whatever that next level is. And there's so much out there we know that we can do, but when we talk about something new out of the box, I want you to close your eyes even as I'm going through this, because I'll talk you through the slides and imagine what can my life and my business and my impact look like in this next level, and could licensing your content be a solution to that? So I'm super excited to dive in with you here. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up these slides and we're going to get going right away. So today we're talking about content licensing, and we're talking about how to make millions of dollars with content and trainings and services and processes that you have already created. And I'm going to share with you exactly how we are going to go through this process. So at the end of our short time together today, these are the things that I want you to expect to walk away with. And by ideally showing this to you up front, hopefully your brain is now looking for this in the process I take you through this afternoon. So the first thing is that you are going to know what licensing is and how you can make money doing it. And I want you to see if licensing is a model that is right for you in the future. As we know, not every business growth model is right for everybody. So I want you to be able to qualify yourself or even disqualify yourself. How wonderful and freeing is that to be like, no, this isn't for me through this process. And at the end of our talk today, you're going to have clarity on that. You're also going to understand what types of content do other businesses line up to buy and what you have that you could license immediately to other companies. And I'm going to give you the simple steps to get started. As a matter of fact, at the end of this, I'm giving you guys complete access to one of our most popular trainings that takes you through this process deeper, even unpacking the content you have and even giving you our top 10 industry buyer list so you can start thinking about who you might want to license your content to. So you are in the right place if you have programs and you know that your programs work. And this content licensing in general is for organizations and individuals where you want to demonstrate thought leadership in your space, where you want to scale exponentially beyond definitely one-to-one, but also beyond one to group. What we're talking about here today with licensing is what comes after scale. And I'm going to show you a little roadmap exactly of that. So if you're visual like me, that you can actually start picturing how this can apply to you. This is for those of you guys with original IP. What you do, what you've created came from your own genius, your own experiences. It came from your own time in the trenches. You're very good at what you do, and other people have gotten results based on your services, your processes, your consulting, your frameworks in the past. And this is for you guys if you are looking for that next business level, as we mentioned. So if that's what you have, then you are definitely in the right place. So let's go ahead and move forward here. So what actually is content licensing? So you guys are probably familiar with music licensing, brand licensing. If you have a child and they have Mickey Mouse on their water bottle, that is licensing, right? So those are the type of licensing techniques that people are really familiar with. You may have licensed photography for marketing or videos that you may use in different parts of your business. That is the most common type of licensing. And people make a ton of money doing that. But what we're talking about here today is completely different. It's, again, a really big, best kept secret that we're trying to get out there to share with the world, and it's called content licensing. So my definition of content licensing is creating content or taking the content you already have and allowing other companies to use it. But the most important part of this I want to highlight here, if my little highlighter will work, is that why are we doing this? We're doing this so that these other companies that are utilizing your content can grow faster, that these other companies can make more money, that these other companies can provide better services, or they can deliver superior content. Because how many of us know that when we enable and equip our clients or who we're selling to be better, do better, make more money, and have what they want, that's going to equal the same thing in your pocket. So what we're doing here is we're taking content or processes or services or trainings that you've already created, and we're allowing other companies to use them so that they can have all these benefits. Now, legal disclaimer, I'm not an attorney. I'm not providing any legal advice to you. As a matter of fact, attorneys are in our business programs and send clients to us for this part of licensing because this is the part they need help understanding. So overall, licensing is a legal agreement between two parties known as a licensee and a licensor that details the terms in which you will release your content. For me, because I'm a business strategist and I want to help everybody grow, it's creating incredible programming so that everybody wins. That's what we're talking about here with content licensing. So licensing is really powerful because it does a couple of things for your business. So if you want to expand the reach of your work faster than you have ever done before, licensing can do this. And let me explain this a little bit more for you. So when we market, when we run ads, even when it might have affiliates for your business, that really scales and expands the reach of your work, but you're still the one delivering the services. So with licensing, it actually exponentially duplicates you because you're giving other companies or organizations, universities, nonprofits, other consultants just like you, permission to be the one sharing, distributing, or teaching your content. All the marketing in the world, all the affiliate partners in the world struggle to compete with how fast we can expand the reach of your work by allowing other companies to distribute your genius. And so if you are in a place where you really want or you have meaningful work that you know can help other people and companies, licensing can expand the reach of your genius faster. So with that being said, it increases profitability exponentially as well. By sheer math, that's how this works. Also, licensing can establish you as a thought leader in your space. So it grows your thought leadership. So instead of being the one that is actually doing the services, delivering the services, you're the one that companies go to take your systems and processes, and they trust you so much and they love your content so much that they are adopting it into their ecosystem. Instantly, we look at LinkedIn and we look at speaking engagements. You're no longer the doer, you are the leader and the distributor of the genius that other companies trust. So we are instantly elevating your thought leadership, which totally gets you out of a red ocean market and elevates you into a blue ocean in a competitive landscape, if that's some of the places where you guys are. If also you are still selling your programs individually, licensing is a really natural next step for you. It bridges you into this B2B. And it saves you time and it saves you money. And we're not going to be able to dive into all of those numbers here today. We have that information for you in the Next Step program. And I also have tons of YouTube videos on the cost of not licensing as far as operational costs and how much money you can actually save by licensing your material. And we could geek out on those numbers all day long. But I just want to share with you that it simplifies your delivery process. And so then, therefore, it's going to save you time and it saves you money. And the beautiful part about licensing is that we don't have to deal with complex funnels. You don't necessarily have to have a huge social following. Some of the case studies I'm going to share are all about people that are behind the scenes. I deal with experts all the time. They say, listen, I have been an expert in this space for a really long time and nobody knows who I am, but I'm the original that developed this, and all these other people are out there speaking on stages and maybe getting more attention or notoriety or increasing their profit, but nobody knows about me, but I'm the original guy. So if that's you and you feel like you're in this space or you've been working in a company for a long time and you want to move yourself out of that, then licensing can be very, very powerful for you. So let's talk about what we know about business. This is the Lifestyle Entrepreneur Roadmap. I created it over 15 years ago. And these are the stages of business that we know. Just briefly going over this to explain where does licensing fit in this overall model. So the first one is you're thinking about launching a business. What is this I want to do in the future? All of you have been to this point, through this point, and you've moved on and you've launched your business. This is our minimum viable product. This is when we start creating our methods and frameworks and processes. This is when you start building your unique genius, your steps of service. And after that, then we get into scale. And everybody talks about scale. Every business coach, marketing strategist out there, efficiency expert, we're all talking about scaling. This is, if you're a consultant or a coach, going from one-to-one to one-to-many. And examples of this are launching courses, building membership programs, hosting big events or retreats, online or offline. Different ways to scale your services. We go from this kind of one-to-one and we're going to one-to-many. Other things we do in scale are, efficiency of teams and, different ways to reach more people. We may scale our marketing strategies and scale our internal processes in our business. Here's the truth. Most companies stay here forever. And that's awesome. That works great. This is where companies this is the pièce de résistance, right? This is where everybody stays. This is the end result. Let's make more money, save more money, and scale, scale, scale. But what I want to talk to you about today is what comes next. And very few people realize that this is possible. And this is what I have coined as the amplify phase. This is phase 4, and it is where we move into content licensing and we continue to elevate you into thought leadership. And when you do this well, you're going to be able to dive into more impact work. As a matter of fact, when I first went through this whole entire process, when I first started licensing my content, and I realized how much time freedom I gained from doing that, I was able to take almost 2 years completely off, and I founded an environmental nonprofit organization. It had nothing to do with my business, but doing this enabled me to do things that were really important to me. So that's an example of what we know about business growth and how what we're talking about today can fit into what you are doing. So just a little background, as Jennifer said, I'm not going to stay here. I have been a lifestyle entrepreneur my whole life. What does that mean? It means I don't know how to design a company unless it's around my time and life and freedom. So I'm always looking for opportunities to remove myself while making my clients and the people that I work with more successful so that I can go I have 3 sons, so I can go hang out with my 3 sons. I do now try, this slide's a little old. I travel actually 10 months a year this last year with my 3 boys, and they're to places that are important to us, mainly lacrosse tournaments, or, taking my older son, one of my older sons, to dance in Los Angeles because he was a professional hip hop dancer. That's what I choose to do with my time. You guys can choose to do whatever you want with your time. But I'm telling you that the processes we're talking about here today will enable you to do this if it seems like the right fit for your business. So let's go ahead and get your wheels spinning. What do you have that you can license? I'm going to break down 3 different levels of content that companies line up to license. And I want you to be thinking about what you already have. What is collecting dust? If you are like me, I'm super old school. I mean, I have my headphones on here. If you might have notepads of things that you've created and you might have launched them or you're not even using them anymore, then you are primed for licensing. So level number 1 is content that fills distribution channels. So these are smaller pieces of content. They could be articles, they could be emails that you've written, not directly to your people, but more thought-provoking emails. They could be newsletters or even templates of newsletters that you have created, or they could be little teeny visuals. Content that fills distribution channels primarily goes into public content that other companies will share, right? Everybody's looking for more content. I don't care if it's a large corporation or a nonprofit or a coach or a consultant, just like we are. They're always looking for great, thought-provoking content to share that aligns with their audience. So the first level of content that you can think about are maybe an article or a piece or a little video that you recorded a while ago that you're no longer using. So content that fills distribution channels are the first area, that first level of licensing that you can release to other companies. The second is content that augments programs. So if you have a smaller piece of content that another business can add to their existing programs or their existing employee trainings, so these can be sold outwardly as part of their products, or these could be internal for their teams. So if what you have just fits, it's like imagine a little piece of a puzzle to a program or a training that they already have. These are awesome things to license. They could be worksheets, they could be blueprints, they could be templates. Here's a quick visual of this. They could be assessments. If you have an amazing assessment that could fit into another program, that you even may still be utilizing it within your programs and services, but we can extract that out. We can plug it into another company's program and license that. So level 2 is content that augments other existing programs. And level 3, where we're really going to focus in on today, are what I call completes. These are complete programs, services, courses, curriculum that you may have created. They also, though, could be steps of service or frameworks. It doesn't have to be a done course. It's really important to say. One of the cool things about licensing is we sell it before we build it or gather it together. The rule is, though, you have to have tested the process and make sure that you're really good at what you do and that you can, in fact, deliver people results, and you have delivered other people or companies results. So examples of these are products and trainings and systems that actually stand alone, that you can literally sell them by themselves. But the cool part about this also, you guys, is it doesn't have to be a big, huge 8-module course. And I'll show you in some of the case studies. It literally can just be a workshop that we turn into a licensing deal, and that can stand alone. So anything that stands alone that delivers a measurable transformation. Here's just a couple of screenshots of one of our programs. And the reason why these are blank in here is to show you that you can actually even white label this material and allow your licensee to enter their own pictures or their own visuals or their own brand information. So completes are primarily where we work with our clients and where really the impact and the money really is with licensing. It's best for the licensee, it's best for their end users, it's best for you. And it's very, very profitable. So with this being said, I want you guys to dive in and think about, what do you already have that you could license? What do you already have that you can repurpose or tweak and sell exponentially? Do you have a course? You're either still selling it, which there is a strategy we need to work on if that's what you want to do, or maybe you're like me. At one point in time, I had over 50 online courses that had nothing to do with licensing. I used to teach businesses how to launch and scale phases 2 and phases 3 for over 20 years. That's like all I did. And I have these amazing trainings and programs that we license to other companies so that they can include them, because I'm no longer selling them. So what do you have? Is it a course? It could be written content. It could be a workshop. Or are you thinking about maybe certifying others in your methodology? Do you want to elevate your brand and your thought leadership in your space by creating a certification and then giving those individuals a license to utilize your materials and your processes and your trainings on the backside of that? Share with you guys some of these first decisions so that you can be thinking of, again, like as I'm going through this, I'm also going to share with you the 4 steps that I got into licensing. But what do you have currently and what do you want to do with it? So, is there content that you can edit or create to sell? What content are you willing to license? What are you no longer using in your business? Or how do you want to expand the reach of your brand and work and thought leadership in a space? You're also going to wonder here, because everybody does, April, who am I going to sell this to? And in our next step, make sure you follow the link in here. We're going to give you access to that top 10 industry buyer list so you can match your content with the ideal industry that is looking for content just like yours. I also want you to start thinking about, how much money do I want to make? And I know it sounds like a silly question when I say this, but here's why I'm asking you this question. We can sell the same content to a small to mid-sized business for $1 amount, and that's what we call licensing quick sell, or we can sell that same content to government or a large corporation for a bigger deal. And it's the exact same type of content, but the use case is going to scale. So do you want to work with smaller businesses? Do you want to equip small to mid-sized companies? Or are you really looking to make a big bang with your content and you want to sell the same content to university, which the cost of that deal is more valuable? And last, but most important to me, what do you guys want your future to look like? What do you want to be known for in your space? How important is it for you to be known for your work? And what is the significance that your work and your IP should have in the future? And you're the only one that gets to decide that. But that goes into the most important part of crafting and creating your licensing model. And so let me show you what I did, and I'm going to flow through this process here of my process of license so that you understand all the things you can do. You don't have to do what I did. This was an evolution of a process because I had to figure this out on my own. Nobody was doing this. And so I evolved through this process, but I kind of want to share with you my thinking because I want you to be thinking like this. What do you have that's valuable to other people? How can we design your future and your business around what you want to be known for, but also around the life that you want? And how can we make a greater impact with your work? That's what we're talking about with content licensing. So I want to share a tool, and I know Jen is going to share this, and that's just the conclusion of our deep dive here as far as what you can do with licensing. But we do have a next step tool for you guys to access so that you can start digging more into this if it's something that you want to learn about. Jen?
Thank you. And Joey, if you could put that in the chat so anyone who wants to look at that next step training, and I've taken this one, you guys, and again, I'll just really, there's so many notes that I take every time I listen to April of like, oh, and what about this? And what about this? So I'd even encourage you to like go through it twice, because truly I've had different ideas in different spaces when I'm going through her content. Thank you so much. Again, I've got more ideas that we're gonna have to talk about offline, April. So every time. You guys, if anyone is interested in hot seating, please let us know. We're gonna go through some questions. But then, if you want the opportunity to speak with April directly right now about how this can work for your business and your expertise, and there's a couple of you on here, gosh, I would really love to call you out because we've talked about this, and man, you guys have got to be doing this. I'm so excited to have you all here. But put yourself up there. Kim, awesome. I was going to call you out, so I'm so glad you didn't make me. All right, before we get to Kim, let's talk about our 3 questions, which the first is, what's the biggest misconception about licensing?
That you have to have corporate sales experience.
Yeah.
Never worked in a corporation a day in my life and sold my program multiple times to corporations. The sales process is really simple. You guys, when you have a great product, companies are used to buying solutions like yours. So you don't feel like you have to be a sales expert. Obviously, Jen's experience in generating leads and the things that they do is really, really helpful. So having a company out there that can reach out and create these relationships for you is just so powerful. But you don't have to be a sales expert to do this. Anybody can do this.
Absolutely. And as again, like what we do is so symbiotic with what April does that
good.
it's just like really, really exciting. But we seriously just want to be a resource as well. So if you guys go through something like this, and anyone here and wants to reach out to us as to mastermind, we will find a way to make that happen for you. Okay, second question is, why is being a disruptor so important in this space? I think this space alone is disruptive, but why is it different to be disruptive here?
Yeah, so that's a bit of a hard question to answer because as far as I know, I'm the only consultant or strategist that even has a content licensing roadmap that consults in this space.
Yeah.
So I literally feel like I am actually shocked that nobody's been teaching this. That's why I leaned in, because I had so many people that just knew I did this, and I started listening to that and asking, oh, okay, you guys don't know how to do this? I really honestly, I had no idea. So being a disruptor, I think overall, my thoughts on this is that I don't ever want to disrupt to be disruptive. I always want to think about what I'm really selfish, guys, when it comes to my life and my times and my kids and the things that matter to me. So disruptive to me is saying, just because everybody else is doing this, what should I do? What's going to align with my family, my time, the things that I want to do? And so whatever space that you're in, I think that that's very, very important to ask yourself. And with content licensing, it totally blows people's minds because you're giving them all the solutions you've ever created. And most people are like, wow, why would I give them everything I've ever done? Well, because guess what? Again, when we make them look better and be better and do better, it elevates you, so it's like, what's that, all boats rise with the tide type of thing. It elevates you and everybody wins. And we do what's called turning your competition into your clients. And it's the most amazing thing.
I love that. Tell me the number one thing we can all do today. And Joey, I think you can help us with putting the links up. But what's the number one thing we can all do today with this information to get started, to drive more revenue, what's the next step?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you 2 next steps. Number 1, go into your assets, go into things you've created and ask yourself, what do I already have done that is needed by either another industry? It's easier to sell, not directly to your competitions first. There is some strategy around that. But what do you have that can help another industry or another business? Make a list on a piece of paper, old school. And then go on LinkedIn, you guys, tag me if you want. We're going to go ahead and have this conversation and start asking people, if I were to give you all of my solutions, that's the language I want you to use. If I were to give you all my solutions to address this problem in your business, what would that mean for you? And start having open, organic conversations and start paying attention to the industries and the different licensing buyers, if you will, that you never thought would come out of the woodwork. So those would be the 2 first steps. Jot down a list, splash down, start having conversations across LinkedIn or even in your networking groups.
And then I'm going to go rogue here for a minute, April. I want to ask you if you can share with everyone listening, what does the average licensing deal look like in terms of revenue? I want you guys to hear this because it will rock your world.
Well, I can share with you our clients' average licensing deal. So our clients' average licensing deal, from small deals to large deals, the average first licensing deal for our clients is $56,000. across the board, which is really amazing. We have clients that license their materials for quick sells. So we call for as low as 5,000. And this is each time 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, all the way up to 1.2 million.
Love it. This is why I can't sleep at night, if you guys were wondering. I mean, ever since I found out about licensing and learned what it could do for my business, for my clients' business, for like everyone in my world, because I've surrounded myself with so many incredible subject matter experts. It's just like everyone has to know about this. I seriously sound like I've joined a cult. Okay, April, you're like my cult leader now. Congratulations.
Well, honestly, I have to say one thing. I'm going to go rogue here too. The thing is, honestly, you guys, it's so cool for me to get to work with all these different subject matter experts, because like you're genius that I don't need to know your genius. I just help you license and package it, right? The amount of genius that I get exposed to that I never would have otherwise known about. I feel so lucky to be like, wow, really? That's what it is. And so I feel like it goes both ways. I'm like, oh, this is how you do things. This is so rad.
Yeah. This is what happens when you're an eternal student, I think, when you're constantly curious. Okay, Kim, let's do this. Unmute and I won't even set you up. I'll let you do it. Go for it.
Okay. So my name is Kim Russo. I own On Brand Designs, which is a branding agency focusing on brand strategy, logo, and website development. When I say all things in between. So a couple years ago, I created a course for other creatives, really targeted to myself. As you know, I started my business 6 years ago. The first 2 years, I kind of treated it like it was a freelance business because I was not aware of all the businessy things that went into a business. So I created this course out of a passion to help others like me without spending as much as I did. I was fortunate to have a contract client, we'll call it that, that was supporting or that was feeding into my business while I was also growing it. So I invested a lot, like business coaches, other courses that didn't work, coaches that were great, and coaches that didn't understand me as a creative person and how my day-to-day needs to look like. And so I created this course for other creatives, whole other audience than what I'm used to marketing to organically, which is all I really do. So it's been a struggle, but I know it's good content. I've had a few people take it and it's worked, but how do you license it if my face is all over it? So the way that I created it was, some of these courses that I was taking, I couldn't finish because as a creative, it was way too much writing and not as much implementing or just telling. So I have a lot of short videos of me with some like actual physical templates and things like that. But a lot of it is just me talking. So how would you even go about that? That's
Great
the
question.
first part. There's another question.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, I want you to ask yourself, what impact do you want this course or content to have in the future? Who do you want it to help? Who do you want it to touch? Who are those people specifically? So answer that for me.
So creatives who have an entrepreneurial spirit, but they don't know how or never been taught. They didn't go to business school. They are used to just being in their creative zone, but they know they want to be independent. So they have this like other side to them that has got big goals and independence. They just don't know how to get there.
Okay, cool. All right. So, and I'll get back to answering the question about how to deal with face and talking and things like that here in a second. But this is hopefully helpful to everybody listening to this. I want you to now think above selling to the creatives. This is a licensing thing. I want you to think about who, besides you, has access to these creatives. Where are these people? Immediately, I think of colleges for creatives that, are art and design schools that might not have the business component inside it. Small private schools, universities, multiple clients that were licensing their content into universities. So immediately I think of that. I think of any sort of program or group or even nonprofits that have access to these type of people. So we want to think a level up, not just where are they, because that's that level 3. That's that scale B to C thinking that, it's like this rat race we all stay in, right? Now I want you to think, okay, now how can I access more of those people without having to be the one to have access to all of them? So I want you to be thinking the level up. Another example of this is I have one of my very, very best friends owns a very well-known brand house in Kansas City. And she had these 2 courses, and her clients were like super high-level clients and just kind of be thinking out the box. But she had these branding and marketing trainings that it wouldn't even align with her clients. Everything they do is done for you, right? And so she licensed both of those trainings to, I believe it was like the local chamber of commerce or something, where all the other businesses that might have a creative or need branding and marketing help were on their teams to help build up local brick and mortar businesses all over the city. So I just want to share with you, I want you to be thinking higher than that so that you no longer have to be the one to sell it. As far as removing your face, I'm going to go back and ask you, how important is it for you to be known that you are the one that created this training? Is this 10 years from now, do you need to be the one that says, yeah, I want to be known for this. Kim designed this. This is Kim's training. We have like a trademarked methodology that you teach, or does that really not matter to you? And there's no right or wrong answer here.
I definitely really thought about it. But I don't think it super matters. I think at one point it did, but now I've done a lot of deep internal work of what I actually want my life to be like, and it's maybe more behind the scenes.
Cool. Yeah. So
but also like well known too, but also I don't want to be like a speaker traveling the country speaking to a bunch of schools. And that was one of the marketing ideas that we had, and going to show up to all these, but that was still selling direct me to students, and they don't have money, like, and so the idea of that was exhausting. I just want to be by a pool all day, and that's it.
Here. Okay. So that is going to help you understand how to actually format your content. Like, I don't need to be known for any of the parent stuff. Like I said, nobody knows that's mine. So I white label it all. So when we white label it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to remove your face, but we allow the company to call it theirs, include their own branding and all of those things. So you can do 2 things moving forward. You can either just release the audio trainings if you don't feel comfortable having your face on there, if you don't want to do that, or you literally package it up just like they are with your face and the talking. We deliver it, and is actually delivered as either an asynchronous course or something within their LMS.
So they can even take all of my slides that are InDesign files, and they can just replace my branding with their branding.
Absolutely. That's what we call, that's called white labeling, and they will pay you more money for that. So that, like, there are dials, they're called the levers of licensing. But they're basically dials you can turn that change the value and the price of your program. If your face is on it, it might be important to our long-term strategy for you. If that's important, like if I were to license my licensing trainings, I would never white label them because it's important for me to be known in this space. The parent coaching stuff, if I saw another stroller, I was going to vomit, right? That was just like totally not in the where I wanted to grow. So now that you know that, you can turn that dial and allow them to either co-brand it or white label it.
Okay. And then
within guidelines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the part 2 is like, how do you reach them? Like, that's probably something you teach and all that, but like how, that's now another audience that are another.
Yeah. So this is like a great Jen Frey question, because this is, her company reaches out for this too, but we do have a licensing sales system as well. And really the idea is there are 3 ways you can sell your licensing programs. The first one is organic, which is old school, which is like shaking hands and kissing babies and going to networking events and all those type of things. It takes the longest, but it's very successful. Many of our clients do that. That's another great way to connect with Jennifer and her team and to build those relationships. The second way is actually through speaking. I have YouTube and podcast episodes on this, on how to sell your program. It's not necessarily keynote speaking. Like, think about if you were in a room with 10 ideal decision makers that headed up 10, let's say, creative universities, right? And taught them a workshop or a framework on your methodology. And then the next step to that is licensing the program to them to bring into their own ecosystem. So speaking, not big, huge keynotes, but that is another way to do it, whether it's in person or virtually. And then the third way is actually licensing through teams. So this is the fastest way to sell a licensing deal, you guys. We have actually an entire framework that we teach on how to build your licensing. It's almost like an affiliate team, but not like link tracking and the coaching and consulting space, not at all. But it's basically connecting with individuals or consultants that already have a relationship with that organization and giving them authority and permission to actually sell your program for you. I had one client, which she was trying to sell her communication program to different organizations. And basically, the bigger the organization, you guys, the longer it takes to close. The bigger the deal, the bigger the dollar amount, but there's just more people that have to say yes, yes, yes. And so from having those conversations, she literally connected with a consultant inside this. It was actually a nonprofit organization and closed a deal in, I think it was like 8 or 9 days, because she had connected with somebody who was already working with that company to solve or find the solutions to the thing that she had that puzzle piece for.
That's definitely something we're going to explore. I want to get to Michelle also. Michelle, in the interest of time, we've got about 6-7 minutes.
I'll be
because I want
fast.
to make
Sorry.
sure yeah, it's okay. I hate to do this because I think we could do this all day. But Michelle, I'm so glad I was about to call you out too, girl. So bring it on.
Okay, well, I don't even know if mine is really applicable, because quite honestly, this is actually, I took this class specifically because I'm launching a program in my business. So I own an interior design firm. We are in the luxury market. We're very heavy in the residential sector, although we do boutique commercial. But for this particular instance, this is a residential focus. And one of the things that I'm just been really frustrated, I love that you reference like red and blue ocean, because that's where this idea came from, is how can I stop constantly trading time for money? So for me, it was, where are the holes in my market? And I know that with specific builders and specific developers, they need their overhead to remain really low. They still need luxe design, but they don't have the time or the money to pay for what my normal charges are as if I'm custom designing your home. So we're creating this entire package specifically for that market, where basically I'm actually creating packages, and there's gonna be multiple levels. We're gonna kickstart it with that, but this is all still in development. But what I'm trying to figure out is like, do I have the option of licensing a concept that I'm going to be launching so that I can protect myself and I swear to God, it's like, so excited about this program, because the quiet research I have been doing and like going and quietly meeting with like builders and developers and whatever, everyone is like, freaking hurry. We need this so bad. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, is this something that I can kind of start tying into, even though like my business is successful, but this launch necessarily isn't fully developed with all the like track history and whatever. I just know that it's going to work because I did it in my past, just not with my current firm, if that even makes sense.
Yeah, so I think I'm understanding clearly. So my recommendation to you would, well, first of all, the answer is yes, you can absolutely license your method, framework, or process without having services on the backside. So you want to do that, you want to create that, you want to, which is already in your head and you've already created it anyway, you want to copyright that. We need to make sure it's legally protected, and you can license the concepts and the overall strategy to builders. So that would be phase one. And you would license that training, you would infuse it into these builders, infuse it into their ecosystems, and everybody needs to understand that even without the service or the packages side of it, you could just license that alone and never even sell the other things if you don't want to, or you could be picky and choosy in who you offer the packages to. So that's step number one. You could even, because my brain just like, you can even license this methodology to, again, different educational institutions or universities or agencies where all these people are together, just introducing your methodology and establishing you as the thought leader in your space without anything else. It's like this entry licensing offer. And then as you're building out the done for you services on the backside or the packages, that's what comes next.
Yeah. And it's interesting because as I've been doing this, I'm like, if I can start it local and just get this shit really figured out and dialed in, everything process, all the things there, my idea is basically then to branch out to all the designers of other states. It's a very similar to a coaching program, but basically saying, you guys, as an asset and as a division of this, you know your own current market. So you're not going to use my product because it's for my market. Whereas somebody from Ohio is going to be designing in a very different genre. but they could take the same premise and all the framework of all the things and be like, this is another way to bring revenue and resources into your firm, and not constantly be tied into like one, you know, all your eggs in one basket kind of theory. So yeah, but this is something I could definitely start incorporating while I'm developing the program, correct?
Yes. And then one of the things that you could also do, where my brain is going, you have to think about this long term because it's a greater long term commitment in a business model, is then those other designers and other locations you could certify in your methodology. And then that's going to help build up your brand. And they could say, we are a certified blankety blankety blank designer. Everything will point back to you. And it's really, really good for them. It also elevates the services. Again, we're going back to helping them to elevate their services, and it's going to elevate you and your thought leadership in the process.
Love it.
I'm gonna cut in here for a second, because from what I've learned over the last several months is you can kind of build the plane as you fly it here, April, right? Like, please tell me if I'm saying it wrong, but if you get stuck in like analysis paralysis, you guys, of like, what do I do exactly? How do I do it? And like focus on perfection and completion before moving ahead or talking to people about this. I mean, you may be able to sell something that doesn't look exactly like what you built and it needs tweaks anyway. Right, April?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So we sell it before we build it. So again, the prerequisites are you have to be very good at what you do. We can't just like pull it out of thin air and you've never done this before. You have to be a proven, established expert or a leader in your space in order for other companies to want to license this for you. But one of the biggest mistakes is that I always have people say, April, we can't work with you because we have to build it out. We have to build it out first. No, we don't. The process is understanding the strategy and then outlining exactly what you're going to do on paper. We have a very special system on how to do this to the point where you can clearly communicate it in a licensing model in the sales processes. And there's important questions that you ask in that. Once we build it the first time, we're going to duplicate it again and again and again. There may be some small tweaks, but yes, we actually design it here and out in the format of a licensing program, literally on paper, you guys, before you ever have to go and build this out. So do not take the time to build something out or organize it. There's so many decisions that need to be left to be made with the first licensing offer.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is awesome. Joey, if you could drop any other contact information in the chat for anyone who, oh, there we go. We've got April's information. I am so glad we did this. I swear, I feel like we could have made this 2 hours and still run out of time. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for serving the way you do, because I think that what you're doing is really changing the game and giving a scalable strategy for businesses where, again, like our zone of genius is so centralized in the success of our business. Like, how do you remove yourself? How do you go on vacation for a week when everyone needs you, right? And so this has just been super exciting to learn about it. I'm so excited to share this with everyone else. You guys got all of your information. Please reach out if you have more questions, or if you just want to like, you know, jam on this with me. I'm super excited to do it because it's just, it jacks me up. I love it. Next week, we have Kimberly Spencer here talking about all things podcast.